Good morning, historians. Today is September 11th, 2024. The anniversary of the attacks, obviously. And also, yesterday we had the first presidential debate with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. We're getting ready to listen to the 7:40 a.m. headline here in the New York City metropolitan area. Wanted to thank the viewers for your support to the project, to the mission of recording history for future generations. And let's see what 1010 Wins has for us today.
Your enthusiasm. Show's not coming back, but Larry David is. No, not to your TV screen, but to a stage near you. Mr. David announcing tour dates that will have a mystery moderator each time around.
So listen, there are some tickets going on sale for this thing I'm doing. It's really nothing. It'll be a total waste of your time. You know, there's not that many things to do at night. So, yeah, I guess if you have nothing to do, if you want to go, you go. If you don't, you don't. Not a big deal either way. Okay.
Yeah, go, you don't go, maybe, whatever. Larry's going to hit several cities around the country starting September 20th. Either way, if you do go, Larry, how's the show going to be?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
If we don't get any leads in this case soon, the chief will have our badges. Any ideas?
The pieces don't add up.
Yeah, we know.
I suspect foul play, and we need answers.
That's why we're here.
Don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
Are you just quoting cop shows?
Okay, so I'm not a detective. I'm an Optimum Tech. When it comes to connectivity, we're experts. If millions of communities rely on us for fiber internet and mobile, you can too. Optimum. Where local is big time. Visit Optimum.com today.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of...
We're going to be going into the sun right now as we wait for the 7:40 headlines. So I'm sorry about the glare ahead of time and the possible blurriness of the windshield. But the important thing here is not so much the video, but the audio.
Always building.
My friends, I want to thank you for making 1010 Wins your number one choice for news in all of New York.
The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good morning. We're at 60 sunny degrees at 7:40 on this Wednesday, September 11th. I'm Scott Stanford. Here's what's happening. The great debate is in the books. Donald Trump, Kamala Harris. Two opposite points of view coming from the candidates on most issues.
I built one of the greatest economies in the history of the world, and I'm going to build it again.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression.
We've got complete coverage and a big name endorsement for Harris. Today we mark the 23rd anniversary of the devastating 9/11 attacks on our city. The annual memorial ceremonies taking place later this morning in Lower Manhattan. The president and vice president expected to be here. Two separate shootings on the west side of Manhattan leave 3 people in the hospital, including a 17-year-old boy who was shot in the back. Hurricane Francine expected to make landfall in Louisiana from the Gulf of Mexico this morning. Residents along the coast bracing for floods and damaging winds. MTV Video Music Awards on Long Island at the UBS Arena tonight. Taylor Swift can become the artist with the most VMAs ever. She's looking up only at Beyonce. Checking sports, Mets lose to the Blue Jays 6-2. Yanks lose to the Royals 5-0. Wins News Time, 7:41. Traffic and transit. We get you back to the roads for Karen Stewart.
The closures downtown for the 9/11 memorial service are happening fast and furious now. The FDR Drive has been closed both ways at exit 14 for 96th Street with police activity. That might be related to the UN General Assembly closures that you'll see around the area of 34th through 65th Street between the FDR Drive and 7th Avenue. So that's going on too on the east side. But back to Lower Manhattan, the FDR southbound has been closed at 63rd Street for police activity. The southbound FDR from the Brooklyn Bridge to the Battery Park underpass is beginning to close as well. And then we've got the FDR Drive at Gracie Mansion southbound with a broken down vehicle, and the left lane is blocked. Queens westbound LIE delayed Woodhaven Boulevard at 19. We got a broken down car in the right take Northern Boulevard. The eastbound Grand Central Parkway at Parsons Boulevard has a crash blocking a lane. And the northbound Van Wyck still at Main Street. We've got an accident blocking the two left lanes. And not for nothing, this thing's been there since 5/21. And as we take a check of what we see on Long Island's Big Three, westbound LIE delays to 39. And from Lakeville Road out into 164th Street, the westbound side of the Southern State is delayed to the Meadowbrook. And the Northern State has got delays right around exit 29 coming off the Meadowbrook Parkway as well. LARR is on time. Our next report's in less than 10. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Well, 9 p.m. last night, it was on. Kamala Harris, Donald Trump facing off in their first presidential debate. Started with a handshake, and then, well, the gloves came off. The moderators at times redirecting the two candidates back on topic. Overall, things, though, went fairly smoothly.
Former President Trump seemed to head straight to his podium last night, but Vice President Harris walked across the stage.
Kamala Harris, Sept debate.
Both candidates were first asked about the economy and inflation.
She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat.
Harris promised
To give a $50,000 tax deduction to start up small businesses.
She doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan.
Harris taking a victory lap after the debate.
Today was a good day.
Lionel Moise, ABC News for 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
And after the debate was over, the former president checking in with Sean Hannity on Fox News.
I had a good time. I think it was our best debate ever. I thought it was really good. We had 3 against 1, but I anticipated.
Let's talk about that.
Mr. Trump referring to Kamala Harris and debate moderators David Muir and Lindsey Davis when he's talking about a 3-on-1. Vice President Harris stopped by a debate watch party after she was done on stage. Her husband, second gentleman Doug Emhoff, introduced Harris as the debate's winner. The VP said it was a good night, as you heard earlier on, but there's still work to be done.
We have got to win Pennsylvania. And we are going to win Pennsylvania.
So who do the experts think came out on top in this one? Political analyst Larry Sabato says last night's head-to-head seemed to be a one-sided victory for Harris.
Vice President Harris, she started out nervous. That was clear. But she gained her composure, I would say, just a couple of minutes in. And she was unrelenting.
Then when Joe Biden was replaced with Kamala Harris, lots of folks were waiting to see who the biggest pop star in the world would be endorsing. They got their answer last night.
Taylor Swift says she plans to vote for Vice President Kamala Harris in a post on Instagram. It came shortly after the first presidential debate between Harris and former President Donald Trump ended. She says she's voting for Harris because, quote, she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them. Swift also said she was heartened and impressed by Harris's selection of Tim Walz as her running mate. Holding a cat, she signed off in her statement, Taylor Swift, childless cat lady, in a jab to Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance.
That's correspondent Matt Piper. Wins News Time, 7:45. It's been 23 years now since the 9/11 attacks on New York City. 23 years since we watched those towers come down. A whole new generation learning about the day nearly 3,000 New Yorkers lost their lives to terrorism. The plane going down in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. The hijacked plane flying into the Pentagon. Thousands more continue to die and suffer from 9/11 related illnesses. This morning, we will once again honor those people with the 9/11 memorial ceremonies in Lower Manhattan. Glenn Schuck with us this morning as they are preparing for the reading of the names once again.
Of course, today, remembering those lost on this tragic day 23 years ago. At the same time, this ceremony honors the incredible heroism of first responders who went into the burning towers, hoping to save lives and then losing their own. FDNY Commissioner Robert Tucker.
The department doesn't need the anniversary to remember the sacrifice and the lessons that we have learned. I knew lots of people who were killed on September 11th and who have died since then, and my thoughts and prayers are with our members and our families who are suffering today.
Now, each year I come, what's really amazing to watch is how family members who've lost loved ones and friends, they support each other and hold each other up emotionally. Now, for some, the grief is too much to keep coming back to the ceremony every year. Others feel they must be here. Glenn Schuck, 1010 Wins, 92.3 FM at the September 11th memorial.
President Biden, Vice President Harris, and former President Trump all expected to take part in ceremonies this morning. A sunrise service this morning on Long Island, where a woman who lost her husband to a 9/11 related illness is the keynote speaker.
The hundreds who come here on the sand by the water and Point Lookout, many have photos of loved ones lost. Town of Hempstead Supervisor Don Clavin says the service has grown over the years.
The sunrise service is a really important service. 23 years ago, residents came to this location to watch events unfold. We not only remember those we lost on that day, but the ones we're losing every year.
He says 1,500 names have been added to the memorial wall since it was constructed in 2018. They died of 9/11 related illnesses.
Our keynote speaker, Dawn Karshner, lost her husband, Ronnie. He's succumbed to 9/11 illnesses in 2022. Every day a life continues to be stolen by those events.
Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Point Lookout.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Documenting History. We'll see you on the next episode.